When we were in Italy as part of MasterChef, I made a ragu in a challenge, and I made it with as much flavour as I possibly could. Fennel seeds, parsley stalks, rosemary, thyme, everything. I threw all the flavours I could possibly think of in there, and the judges were impressed with it, but the locals, particularly the old ladies, the nonnas, did not like it at all. They said it had too much flavour going on, which blew my mind a little bit. But what they told me was a basic ragu has 5 ingredients and no more. I've got about 7 on the table, so I'm getting closer to the number that they wanted. But the ragu is meant to be about the meat, the tomatoes, and the pasta. So we're going for a pork ragu, tomatoes. I'm going to use the classic ragu short pasta, rigatoni. Step 1 is get a nice hot pan. You can see there's some smoke coming out of that, which is good because that's how we want it. We want it to be nice and hot. A little bit of our garlic infused canola. And then I'm using pork belly. You want a secondary cut of pork. Pork shoulder, pork belly are good. Pop that in. That sizzles straight away. And I'm going to let this colour as much as I possibly can. When you're doing dishes with few ingredients, get as much flavour as you possibly can out of each ingredient. And the reason why you can get away with 5 ingredients is because it's cooked for a long time, and I mean a long time, 4, 5, 6 hours. So flavours have time to develop over time. So when you're cooking things quickly, that you need a few more things happening. But with this, time is your friend, so you can't really overcook this, which is great. So 1/2 of this pork should have some nice colour on it now. So I'll turn it over, and it has. So now that we're starting to get some colour, I can start to add in some other ingredients. So in with that, 1 clove of garlic, finely chopped. I'm going to pop in some rosemary. They're going to be cooked for a long time. Some of the leaves will be fine. Some thyme, gorgeous thyme from our garden. Give that a stir. I'm going to add a little bit of basil vinegar. You need a little bit of acid to help cut through that richness. And it's also going to bring all that sticky, yummy stuff off the bottom of the pot. You can see the vinegar that goes in there, it's sort of changed colour, it's gone brown. That's all that's, you're sort of making a stock out of what's in there. Just going to let that reduce by a little bit. Season it, so a good pinch of salt. Both pork and tomatoes love salt, so they're really important. Well, that's really important. Some pepper. Again, when you're using or cooking something that's simple, seasoning is even more important than when you're cooking something complex. So that goes in. Now tomatoes, 2 tins of crushed tomatoes go in. So I'm going to stir those tomatoes in, then I'm going to put the lid on our pressure cooker. And I'm going to allow that to cook in the pressure cooker for about an hour until it really sort of starts to break down, come together to form our ragu. All right, lid on. Now after an hour, well, I'll lock this first, turn it on, turn it down. After an hour under pressure, I'll take the lid off and have a look at the sauce, see if I need to reduce it down. I'll taste it and check for seasoning. And then we're going to put in some parsley because that's a soft herb that goes in at the end. Some parsley in. I'm going to stir in some ricotta just to add some creaminess and help it carry the flavour that's in there. Things like ricotta are great for carrying flavour, ricottas, creams, and just to soften it a bit. Then we'll cook our pasta and away we go. That's what I want it to look like after an hour in a pressure cooker. And to give you, I did say at the beginning that you're going to cook it for 4, 5, 6 hours. Pressure cookers normally change things from 3 to 1. So 1 hour in a pressure cooker is like 3 hours, normally cooking it on the stovetop. I'm going to take my pasta now and pop it straight in. And the way a pressure cooker is able to do that is it creates pressure inside the canister, which stops the particles being able to move so freely. So if we go and do some basic science, particle theory, when water is at ice, the particles don't move. They slightly vibrate but hardly move. At water, they move freely. When they're steam, they take off. They get enough energy and heat energy to be able to move off quite freely. But if you create pressure on that, it stops those particles being able to move. So it means that you can put more heat energy into the liquid before it turns to steam, which means we're cooking in water that's up around 160, 170 degrees before it turns to steam. So we can cook in a high temperature environment and still have it be quite moist, which is what you want from a pressure cooker. Pasta's in, stir our pasta in. And that there is a basic ragu. Cook that for a little bit longer. You might want to add a little bit more tomato, maybe some water, some stock, and just keep cooking that down for another half an hour on the stovetop, and you'll end up with a nice basic ragu. I'm going to add a little bit of ricotta cheese, as I said, just to soften it a bit. Stir that through and create a nice creamy ragu. And then I'm going to put some parsley in there, just to again freshen it up a bit. You could squeeze some lemon in there if you wanted to freshen it up as well. Parsley, so I'm just going to tear my parsley. Probably half of it I'll put in now and half of it I'll reserve to go on top of the dish so it's really fresh. Stir that in. That is comfort food personified, I reckon. Just taste it and check for seasoning. What I'm looking for here, vinegar. Has it got enough acid to be able to break through that fatty pork belly? And yes, it does. Salt, it's seasoned really well. The only thing I'd like is probably a little bit more black pepper. And that is it. Tell you what, I tried really hard when we were in Italy to complicate a simple thing, and I should have just stuck with what I always say. Don't complicate the simple things, because that is damn good.